1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The Prime Minister says that the financial obstacles to pay the gratuity of pensioners could be solved. Provision of land ownership to the people of the Northern Province will be expedited. A program to provide concessions for the people who are living under poverty level will be implemented. The water level of all rivers and reservoirs have been increased due to the prevailing heavy rain. Polonnaruwa-Batikla Road inundated as torrential rain wreaks havoc. News about Operation Yuktiya, nearly 1,000 suspects nabbed during 24-hour window. Foreign news, Israel-Gaza war, Blinken says cost of conflict on children is far too high. News in detail. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that the financial obstacles to pay the gratuity of pensioners could be solved. He said in Parliament that the necessary financial grants in this regard have been issued after having discussions with the Minister of Public Administration and the Minister of Finance. Prime Minister also stated that providing of land ownership to the people of the Northern Province will be expedited during the next 2 months. Meanwhile, Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya says that a program to provide concessions for the people who are living under poverty level will be implemented. The government is expecting 650 billion rupees as tax income and to maintain the inflation at 5%. The beneficiary families of the Aswasuma program will be increased. Attention will be paid on the unnecessary price increase of cement. All joint trade unions of the Milco Company have decided to develop the Milco Company as an income-earning institute, which was running at a loss for the past 2 years due to the wrong decisions taken by the administration authority of the company. A discussion with the participation of Minister Mahinda Amaraveera and State Minister D.B. Herath was held at the company premises yesterday. The minister has advised the secretary to the ministry, Janaka Dharmakirti, to appoint a group of high officials of the ministry to conduct an investigation into the corruption and waste that occurred at the Milco Company during the past period. Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana says that a large number of human lives have been lost due to the non-communicable disease and road accidents. He stated that he will take decisions to safeguard the valuable lives of the people. He made these remarks at a meeting held at the National Council on Non-Communicable Disease. The discussion was focused on proposals, views and activities to control the non-communicable diseases. He advised officials to take necessary measures to educate the people in this regard. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Your next generation digital banking partner, People's Bank.
The Department of Irrigation says that the water level of all rivers and reservoirs have been increased due to the prevailing heavy rain. The water level of the reservoirs have increased by 95%. The sluice gates of the 50 reservoirs have been opened. The Polonnaruwa-Batikla main road is submerged in floodwater after being pounded by downpours over the past few days, the Disaster Management Centre says. It's reported that a stretch of the road in Galalla area was closed until further notice as the road was inundated at a height of up to 2 feet near the Galalla bridge. The DMC also raised alarm about the rising water levels of the Mahavali River due to the prevailing torrential rainfall. Meanwhile, the Tissamaharama Palatupana main entrance of the Yala National Park was temporarily closed after the Manik River overflowed and submerged the area. According to the warden of the park, Manoj Vidyaratna, 6 tourist bungalows have also been shot as a result. The Sri Lanka Police, in tandem with the Army, Navy and the Special Task Force, have arrested 999 more suspects during the 24-hour countrywide anti-drug operation ending at 12:30 a.m. today. The Minister of Public Security said 453 grams of heroin, 306 grams of crystal methamphetamine or ice, and 234 narcotic pills were taken into custody during the aforesaid period. Meanwhile, 26 drug addicts who were among the arrestees, have been sent for rehabilitation, and detention orders were secured against 31 suspects for further interrogations. Additionally, 54 suspects who were on the list of registered suspects of the Police Narcotics Bureau and the Police Special Task Force have been arrested during the special police operation. And that ends local news for now.
Enjoy seamless shopping. Open LCs, settle bills and transfer funds instantly, anywhere and anytime. With People's Bank Digital Solutions, you're empowered to do more whenever and wherever you want. Unlock a world of modern banking conveniences with People's Bank, your next generation digital banking partner. People's Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
The Election Commission has appointed another member. Accordingly, a member of the Council, Professor D.E.M.S.S. Lakshman Dissanayake, has assumed duties at his office today. The number of members of the Commission is 5 under the chairmanship of R.M.A.L. Ratnayake. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
This is Watchlight.
Irrigational Engineering Office says that sluice gates of the Kala Weber have been reopened due to the heavy rains experienced in the Anuradhapura Kala Weber area. Measures have been taken to release the water to the Kala Oya. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines first. Israel-Gaza war. Blinken says cost of conflict on children is far too high. NASA delays crewed return to the moon's surface. And David Cameron worried Israel may have broken international law in Gaza. The cost of war on Gaza's civilians is far too high, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said. Mr. Blinken said Israel needed to remove barriers so more essential aid could be allowed into Gaza. But he said Israel faced a huge challenge in fighting an enemy in Hamas, which had embedded itself within the civilian population. Mr. Blinken was speaking after meeting Israeli leaders on his 4th trip to the country since the conflict began. America's top diplomat told a news conference in Tel Aviv that leaders in the region shared U.S. concerns about the dire humanitarian situation on the ground. U.S. Space Agency astronauts won't get to walk on the moon again until September 2026 at the earliest. It represents a slip of a year in the previously targeted date for the return of humans to the lunar surface that was last achieved in 1972. NASA says the delay to what's known as its Artemis 3 mission will enable further technology development. Fundamentally, the agency still doesn't have a craft to put astronauts on the moon or spacesuits they can wear. Announcing the delay, agency administrator Bill Nelson said safety drove all timing considerations. We won't fly until we are ready, he told reporters. Lord David Cameron has said he's worried Israel may have broken international law in Gaza. The Foreign Secretary said he regularly consulted government lawyers over incidents in the war, but refused to say whether the legal advice suggested Israel had acted illegally. Lord Cameron stressed the government had not changed its support for Israel. Since the outbreak of war following Hamas' attack on October 7th, over 23,000 Palestinians have been killed. The Hamas-run health ministry says more than 59,000 Palestinians have been injured. Back to the headlines of the world news. Israel-Gaza war, Blinken says cost of conflict on children is far too high. NASA delays crewed return to moon's surface. And David Cameron worried Israel may have broken international law in Gaza. And that ends world news.
Development News.
Ilvatta Dam in the Matra Vallipitiya Divisional Secretariat will be renovated by the Indian private company. This company has agreed to carry out the renovation activities under a request made by Speaker Mahindapa Abeyewardena, and that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Cricket news. Afghanistan team will arrive in the island at the end of this month for a match tour. 1 Test, 3 ODIs and 3 T20 matches will be played between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan teams. The Test match will be played on the 2nd of next month at the SSC grounds in Colombo. The ODI matches will be played at the R. Premadasa Stadium, while the T20 matches are scheduled to be played in Dambulla. And that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
On business news, Infinix Smart mobile phone has been introduced to Sri Lanka at an event held in Colombo yesterday. This phone will be imported and distributed in the island by the G-Next Institute. Marketing manager of the institute, Shad Sham, said that more than 70 countries in the world are using Infinix Smart phones. And that was business news.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. Coconut saplings will be provided to the people in the Suduwatura Ara and Horonbua Monragala areas in the Monragala district. Objectives of this move is to enhance the coconut cultivation in these areas. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
Rainy conditions are expected to continue in the northern, eastern, central and southern provinces today, and cloudy skies can be expected over most parts of the island. Showers will occur at times in the northern, eastern, central, southern and north central provinces. Heavy rainfall above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places. Showers are likely in other areas of the island during the morning. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in these areas after 1 p.m. That was the weather report, and prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines. The Prime Minister says that the financial obstacles to pay the gratuity of pensioners could be solved. Provision of land ownership to the people of the Northern Province will be expedited. A program to provide concessions to the people who are living under poverty level will be implemented. The water level of all rivers and reservoirs has been increased due to the prevailing heavy rain. Polonnaruwa Batikla Road inundated as torrential rain wreaks havoc. News on Operation Yukthiya, nearly 1,000 suspects nabbed during 24-hour window. Foreign news, Israel-Gaza war, Blinken says cost of conflict on children is far too high. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, and handing over the microphone back to Satya on the other side to keep you company this Wednesday afternoon. Over to you, Satya.